Hello there, my name is Tim Cornish, and this is an English as a Second Language lesson. Dieppe. Dieppe. To the rest of the world, it will always be a tiny resort town on the French coast of the English Channel. But for those Canadian soldiers who stormed onto its beaches to do battle in World War II, Dieppe will forever be remembered as the site of the most stunning defeat in Canadian military history. When France fell to Germany in 1940, no one suspected Dieppe would become such an important target for an Allied military operation. But on the morning of August 19, 1942, a force of nearly 6,100 men headed across the English Channel to do battle with the German soldiers stationed at Dieppe. Included in that force were close to 5,000 Canadian soldiers, many of whom had been training in the United Kingdom since the early months of the war. For them, the raid on Dieppe was to be their first real taste of battle. Unfortunately, for many, it also turned out to be their last. The goal of the Dieppe raid was to test the strength of German defenses along the coast. At the time, Britain and its allies were under a great deal of pressure from Russia to launch an attack against the German army on the European mainland. The idea was to open up a second battlefront, forcing the German army to send troops to fight in Europe and reduce the invasion force it had sent to conquer Russia. In early 1941, the Allies began discussing plans for a series of cross-channel raids against enemy positions in France. Many sites for the raids were considered, but the beaches at Dieppe were chosen for the assault because they were easy to reach from southern England. They were also within the range of Allied fighter aircraft. In June 1942, troops began practicing in England for the raid on Dieppe. When a series of military exercises proved to be a total failure, it revealed a serious weakness in the plan. Military leaders quickly went to work designing a new plan of attack. Eventually, they came up with Operation Jubilee, the raid on Dieppe. On the evening of August 18th, a total military force of close to 6,100, 4,963 of whom were Canadians, set sail for Dieppe in calm weather. A fleet of 273 ships and landing craft headed across the channel, carrying orders to launch 5 attacks along a 16-kilometer stretch of beaches. Hoping to surprise the German defenders, the Allied soldiers hit the beaches just before dawn. Unfortunately, the Germans were well prepared for battle, and the soldiers came under immediate fire from rifles, machine guns, and anti-tank guns. After 7 hours of fierce fighting, it became clear that the raid on Dieppe had been a disaster. In total, the Allies lost nearly 2/3 of their troops. Of the 2,210 Canadians who returned to England, only 336 of those went back unharmed. Although Canadian sacrifice at Dieppe was high, Canada can be proud of its soldiers because the raid left the Allies with no doubt about the strength of the German army. Moreover, the Canadian troops fought bravely and unselfishly. This raid helped the Allies prepare for the successful invasion at Normandy that would later help win the war. Thank you for listening.